it's Becky Lickiss. I'm here to talk to you today about codes, cryptography, and ciphers. Now, I know that sounds, especially cryptography, sounds like a big word, but it's all about using symbols to convey ideas. And we do that all the time. I'm doing that right now by talking. I'm using sounds to convey ideas to you. That's all it is. But it can get very exciting and very interesting. So the first one we're going to talk about are some physical codes, shall we call them. It started out, this was not the earliest, but an early code. These are code flags that were used in the American Civil War. And what they would do, this here says flag positions of Meyer's original 2-element code. Meyer came up with a code how to convey ideas or secret information to people on your own side of the war in the American Civil War. And what they would do is they would take these two flags, the white one and the red one, and they had them on a long pole, and they would hold them up straight in front of them, and then it would go to the right side and back, to the left side and back, or to the front and back. And the order that they did them in conveyed something. So you would go, and that meant one thing and meant something totally different. But the person that was watching had to know what the codes were, which means they had to teach this to various soldiers so that they could then use the flags to tell another general what the biggest general wanted them to do, to tell the soldiers what they should be doing. But that was a code from the American Civil War. But there have been other physical type codes, like my friend avocado here. This is a little avocado plant. I planted it a couple months ago. By itself, it's not a code. But if we worked something out ahead of time, depending upon where it is sitting, that could mean different things. This was used by journalists at the Washington Post to break the Watergate story. Whenever they wanted to meet with their secret contact, who was a spy in the government, they would set the plant on their porch in a certain spot. And then the spy would know, oh, we want to meet, and they had a set time to meet. So you can use all kinds of things to make a code. Here's one I bet you know. How many of you recognize that? Stop sign, yeah. These are signs and codes that we use on the road for driving around. This one means stop. You go anywhere in the world and they know this means stop. So this one did not print too well on my printer. I think I need to speak sternly to my printer. But this one is the children crossing sign that you will find near most schools. You will have a sign something like this. It is yellow. Yellow means warning. So it's yellow and it shows two figures that are walking. And that's the symbol for people crossing the road. Look out. In America, we all know this. In other countries, they use different codes. Now, the code that some of you already know and some of you are learning that is most known in this country, the most commonly used code, is this one. It's the alphabet. we use the alphabet to write books, to make signs, to do almost everything. And each letter, each one, letter A stands for certain sounds. A, ah. B is B. C is S or K. D is D. Some of them have more than one sound. Some of them just have the one sound. D is only D. It is only ever D. But we use these, we combine letters together and they make words. And once we have a word, we combine it with other words to make sentences. Everybody knows this code. Well, not everybody, but most people in America and half the world know this code and understand it. And that's how we can convey ideas. The flag code I was talking about originally, that was to convey secrets. So some codes are used to keep secrets, and those tend to be referred to as cryptography or ciphers or something like that, whereas this often isn't even thought of as code, although it is, it's code. And so what other common type codes can we find? Well, these are Norse runes. This is what the Vikings used when they did their writing to convey their ideas. You look at it now, use these now, and you could use these to make your own secret code. Nobody else would know what it is. This is the Cyrillic alphabet, which is used by Russian speakers and other related languages. So these are the letters that they use. And they use their letters similarly to how we use our letters. Certain letters make certain sounds. You combine them, they create words. But these are more of pictographs. Pictographs are what the Egyptians used, where one little tiny picture was a whole word. So you had a whole word in just one symbol. That's also commonly used in Japanese and Chinese and some other languages, where one symbol is not just a sound, but a whole word. So those are all common codes. So what's something you might not think of as a code? Well, what about math? Numbers are codes. We use numbers for all kinds of things. All of math is just learning the number code and learning then different uses that you can make from the numbers. I like math. I enjoy math. I have a good time with math. Just me. This is another code that is often used, and you may have seen this one before. This is what we in the Western world use to describe our music. Each of these is a note, and each line or space is a different tone. And we use that to create our music. And this is the symbol for how we write our music. So if you see music written out like this, somebody that knows how to play the piano or the trumpet or another instrument can look at this and go, oh yes, I know exactly what notes to play and how to play them to make this song. That's enough. And this is Morse code. It's the one that you hear often going beep, 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 beep. That's Morse code. It was really popular through most militaries and for ships and stuff for a long time. You can make it a lot of different ways. The most popular way was using electrical signals to either make sounds, the beep, 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 or flashlights. It is no longer officially used by the military or, for ships at sea or anything like that. It is now used a lot by hobbyists and independent filmmakers on the internet, on YouTube, usually in the horror type, goth type genre, to convey information to the viewer in kind of a secret sort of way where everybody knows it, but nobody knows it kind of thing. You know, you have to look for it, find it, and then you have to translate it using, you know, this to see what message they're conveying. And that brings us back to our secret codes, the cryptography, the ciphers. Currently, they're using computers a lot for that because you can do all kinds of interesting things with computers. Now, these pictures didn't come out very well, I'm sorry, but these two pictures, this one, you can barely see it, it says original, and this one says Steg. Can you see any difference between those two pictures? When I was looking at them, I can't see any difference. Not any difference. This is what they call steganography. That's why this one says Steg. Steganography. It's a nice big word. What it means is they have hidden information in the picture that says Steg. They've taken something that they want to convey, some secret something, and they have embedded it in the code that tells the computer how to print this out. Picture files, movie files, they're big files. Image files are enormous. They take a lot of pixels. Pixels take a lot of data to convey. And so it is easy. You just change a couple pixels here, a couple pixels there, and our eyes can't see the difference. We look at these two pictures, cannot see the difference. They look the same. But to the computer can go in there and pull out the changed pixels that we don't notice. And that is another way that they can convey secret image. And again, or secret information. And again, this is one thing where the person that is sending it and the person that is receiving it both have to have the same code. Because just because you get the Steg picture, if you don't have the original or you don't have the key that will translate it for you, you don't know what's in the picture. You can't figure it out. And that takes us to computers. One of the most widely used codes in the world, to the point that they call writing instructions for the computer coding. It is codes, computer codes. These are binary codes. This is a binary code. This is what the computer uses. Computer uses ones and zeros, on and off. And that's how the electricity flows. The electricity is flowing or it's not through the computer. And all the little chips in there, that's what they do. It's flowing, it's not flowing. Not flowing is 0, flowing is 1. So 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, that's an M. So that's binary code. But most people don't talk in binary code. I mean, there are people who have learned it and can do it mostly for fun because it's not really used in real life. So what we have are called compilers, where we take and you can write code in almost English. You can write it in Java, in C, in all different languages. When I first got out of college, I knew the computer language BASIC. Nobody uses BASIC anymore, but we use other languages that, you know, basically it's like writing, telling the computer do this, and then do this, and then do this. And the computer just follows those commands. But it takes it, compiles it, puts it down into the binary that the computer can actually do. The electricity is flowing or it's not. And that's how the computers do what you tell them to do. Now, You can learn any of many languages out there, and you can actually start right now if you haven't already. There are many different apps and computer language games and different things for you to try. My grandson, a couple months ago, I was up visiting them, and my grandson was showing me what he had been doing on Scratch, where he was able to take and write code, but it would create the blocks of code for him, so that they're actually got programs now that can make the code for you, and you just tell it what you want it to do and it does it. It's absolutely wonderful. And you can learn real code for real computer languages that people are working with in their jobs out there in the real world. And I made up a list of some of the things. I just did a quick search on Google, coding for kids, and came up with a bunch of things, including code.org, Code Monster, Scratch, that was the one Sam was using, Scratch, Code a Kid, Codable, Tinker, and there's all kinds of things out there where you can learn how to tell the computer, do this and then do that. And you can actually make little games on the computer that you can play. And it reminded me an awful lot of when my oldest son figured out how to write games for his calculator that he would then give to the other kids at school. But he also got a cord. This was way back in the day, back in the 90s. He got a cord so that he could connect his calculator to his computer and download his games. So whenever the teachers came through and erased the games, he could go home, reload it up, give it to all of his friends, and they'd all have the games back again. But you can do this for your phone or your computer, and just get out there, look for it, find it. There's all kinds of opportunities, all kinds of different apps and other things that can help you to learn all of these different codes. And then maybe you can invent your own cryptographic code that you can then send secret messages to other people with. But just have fun with it. Whatever you do, have fun with it. So that's it for me and Avocabro. Thank you very much for watching us. You have fun.